The Bride's Last Dance. On June 15, 2019, Maria Santos stood in her flowing white gown at the Grandview Manor in Texas. The reception hall was packed with 200 guests celebrating her marriage to David Chen. The couple had been together for 6 years, and this was supposed to be the happiest day of their lives. After the ceremony, Maria changed into a shorter reception dress for dancing. The DJ announced the first dance, and the newlyweds took the floor. Family members gathered around with cameras as the couple swayed to their wedding song. Then the lights dimmed for a more romantic atmosphere. Maria's dress had a long train that flowed behind her as she moved. During a slow turn, her heel caught the fabric. She stumbled backward toward the edge of the raised dance floor. David reached out to catch her, but she was already falling. Maria tumbled off the platform and struck her head on the marble steps below. The music stopped immediately. Guests rushed over as blood pooled beneath her veil. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but Maria was unresponsive. She was pronounced dead at the hospital from severe head trauma. David held his wife's hand in the ambulance, still wearing his tuxedo from what was supposed to be the beginning of their new life together.
Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It's just one small click for you, but it means the world to us. Thank you, awesome people.
The Poisoned Toast. On August 3, 2021, the Patel family gathered at their home in Mumbai for an intimate wedding celebration. Priya Patel was marrying her college sweetheart in a traditional ceremony with 50 close relatives. The family had prepared all the food themselves, including traditional sweets and drinks. As the evening progressed, glasses of lassi were served to toast the new couple. The creamy yogurt drink was a family recipe passed down for generations. Priya's grandmother had insisted on making it personally for this special occasion. The bride took the first sip as everyone raised their glasses. Within minutes, she began feeling dizzy and nauseous. Other family members started experiencing similar symptoms. Priya collapsed during the toast, convulsing on the floor in her red wedding sari. Her new husband called for help as more guests fell ill around them. Emergency services arrived to find 12 people sick and Priya unconscious. She was rushed to the hospital where doctors worked frantically to save her life. Tests revealed severe poisoning from contaminated ingredients in the lassi. The milk had been stored improperly and developed dangerous bacteria. Despite hours of treatment, Priya died from organ failure caused by the toxins. 7 other family members were hospitalized, including her elderly grandmother, who had unknowingly prepared the deadly drink. The wedding feast had become a funeral gathering. The exploding celebration. On September 12, 2020, Jennifer Walsh married Tom Bradley at a countryside venue in Kentucky. The outdoor ceremony was perfect, with clear skies and warm weather. After the vows, the couple planned a spectacular fireworks display to celebrate their union. Tom had purchased professional-grade pyrotechnics for the surprise show. The newlyweds stood together on the lawn as guests gathered to watch. Tom lit the first rocket, which shot into the evening sky and exploded in brilliant colors. The crowd cheered as more fireworks followed. Jennifer clapped excitedly next to her husband, her dress shimmering in the colored light. Then something went wrong with the fourth rocket. Instead of launching skyward, it misfired and shot horizontally across the lawn. The rocket struck Jennifer directly in the chest at close range. The impact knocked her backward as the explosive detonated on contact. Guests screamed and scattered as debris rained down around them. Tom rushed to his wife's side, but the damage was catastrophic. The explosion had caused massive internal injuries and severe burns. Jennifer died before the ambulance arrived, her wedding dress charred and torn from the blast. Tom knelt beside her body, covered in soot and blood, as the remaining fireworks continued to pop and hiss nearby. The deadly reception. On November 7, 2018, the Morrison family hosted a lavish wedding reception at the Sunset Ballroom in California. Sarah Morrison had just married her high school sweetheart in a ceremony attended by 300 guests. The reception featured an elaborate buffet with multiple food stations and an open bar. As the evening progressed, guests began complaining of stomach cramps and nausea. At first, the symptoms seemed mild and were attributed to too much rich food and alcohol. Sarah felt perfectly fine and continued dancing with her new husband. But within 2 hours, dozens of guests were violently ill. The bride's elderly aunt collapsed near the dessert table. Her uncle started vomiting uncontrollably by the dance floor. Soon, half the reception was either sick or helping those who were. Sarah began feeling queasy during her second dance. She excused herself to the bathroom but collapsed in the hallway. Emergency responders arrived to chaos. Ambulances lined up outside as paramedics treated dozens of food poisoning victims. Sarah was among the most severely affected. At the hospital, doctors discovered she had consumed a lethal dose of contaminated shellfish. The oysters at the raw bar had been improperly stored and were teeming with dangerous bacteria. Despite aggressive treatment, Sarah died from septic shock caused by the infection. Her husband held vigil beside her hospital bed, still wearing his tuxedo from their wedding day. The reception hall that had been filled with laughter and music just hours before was now a crime scene as health inspectors investigated the deadly outbreak. The Falling Chandelier. On December 20th, 2017, the grand ballroom at the historic Riverside Hotel was decorated for the wedding of Amanda Foster and Michael Torres. The venue was known for its ornate crystal chandeliers that hung from the vaulted ceiling. Amanda had specifically chosen this location because she loved the elegant lighting. The ceremony went smoothly with 180 guests witnessing their vows. During the reception, the couple took photos beneath the largest chandelier in the center of the dance floor. The massive fixture hung 30 feet above, weighing over 500 pounds and sparkling with hundreds of crystal pieces. Amanda posed for pictures, her veil flowing behind her as the photographer captured the romantic scene. Family members gathered around as the couple shared their first dance as husband and wife. The chandelier cast beautiful patterns of light across Amanda's dress as she spun beneath it. Then, a loud crack echoed through the ballroom. Guests looked up to see the chandelier's mounting hardware failing. The massive fixture swayed dangerously overhead as metal bolts worked loose from the ceiling. Amanda was directly underneath when the chandelier finally broke free. The 500-pound crystal structure crashed down with devastating force. Amanda was crushed instantly beneath the ornate lighting that had drawn her to this venue. Michael was thrown clear by the impact but suffered severe injuries from falling crystal shards. The ballroom erupted in screams as guests fled from the destruction. When rescue workers cleared the debris, they found Amanda's body beneath the twisted metal and shattered crystal. The chandelier that was supposed to illuminate their special day had ended her life in the most tragic way possible. The Honeymoon Highway. On March 18, 2022, Rebecca and James Murphy left their wedding reception in Portland, Oregon, heading to their honeymoon destination in the mountains. The couple had rented a luxury cabin for their first week as husband and wife. Rebecca was still wearing her reception dress, a shorter white cocktail gown that she had changed. James drove their decorated car, complete with tin cans and ribbons trailing behind. The winding mountain road was familiar to both of them, having traveled it many times during their engagement. As they climbed higher into the hills, fog began rolling in from the coast. Visibility dropped quickly as they navigated the sharp curves. James slowed down, but the road became increasingly treacherous. Rebecca laughed about something on the radio, completely relaxed after the perfect wedding day. Then their headlights caught something in the fog ahead. A massive tree had fallen across both lanes, blocking the entire road. James hit the brakes hard, but the wet pavement offered no grip. The car skidded sideways and smashed into the fallen trunk at 45 miles per hour. The impact crushed the passenger side where Rebecca sat. James survived with minor injuries, but his new wife was trapped in the wreckage. Emergency crews took 3 hours to reach the remote location. Rebecca died from her injuries while still wearing her wedding dress, just 2 miles from their honeymoon cabin. The Bachelor Party Aftermath. On October 14, 2019, Mark Stevens was scheduled to marry his fiancée Lisa at noon in downtown Chicago. The night before, his bachelor party had lasted until 3 a.m., with heavy drinking at multiple bars. Mark woke up with a severe hangover but was determined to make it to his wedding on time. His best man, Craig, picked him up that morning and noticed Mark looked pale and unsteady. During the car ride to the church, Mark complained of chest pains and difficulty breathing. Craig suggested postponing the ceremony, but Mark refused to disappoint Lisa and their 150 guests. At the church, Mark's condition worsened as he waited at the altar. Sweat poured down his face as he struggled to stand upright. Lisa walked her grandmother down the aisle in's vintage gown, unaware that her groom was in medical distress. When the minister asked if Mark took Lisa as his wife, he opened his mouth to say yes, but collapsed instead. The combination of alcohol poisoning and dehydration had triggered a fatal heart attack. Paramedics worked on him for 30 minutes, while wedding guests watched in horror. Lisa knelt beside her fiancé in her wedding dress, but Mark was pronounced dead before reaching the hospital. The bachelor party celebration had killed the groom on his wedding day. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Every like gives me more power to create the next video for you.